Good morning, my dear children. Welcome to St. Michael's e-learning classes. My name is Francis sir, and today, my dear children, we will be studying chapter number 5 of Social Science for Standard 4. And the name of the chapter is The Plateau and the Desert Region. So let's read and understand this chapter. Southern Plateau. A plateau is a highland which is higher than the land around it and has a flat table-like top. That is why it is also called a tableland. So first of all, my dear children, we need to understand what is a plateau. A plateau is a highland which is very much higher than the normal land which we see around us, and it has a flat table-like top. That is why the plateau is sometimes known as the tableland. Now let's see the location and extent. The region extending from south of the northern plains to southern tip of the Indian mainland is the plateau region. The plateau mainly covers peninsular area India and is inverted triangular in shape, broad in the north and narrowing down as it extends southwards. It is thus called the Peninsular Plateau. So this plateau is extending from the south of the northern plains to the southernmost tip of the Indian mainland, and it covers the peninsular area and is also inverted triangular in shape, which is broader towards the north and narrower as it extends southwards. So the plateau is also known as the Peninsular Plateau. This region is bounded by hill ranges: Aravalli Range in the northwest, the Raj Mahal Hills in the northeast, the Eastern Ghats to the east and the Western Ghats to the west. So this Peninsular Plateau, it is surrounded by hill ranges, that is, first of all, the Aravalli Range in the northwest, then the Raj Mahal Hills in the northeast, the Eastern Ghats towards the east side, and the Western Ghats towards the west side, respectively. The plateau has a rocky and uneven surface. The Peninsular Plateau covers the states of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and eastern part of Kerala. The main cities of this region are Bhopal, Indore, Hyderabad, Mysore, and Bengaluru. The river Narmada divides this plateau into two parts: the central highlands in the north and the Deccan Plateau in the south. So this Peninsular Plateau, it is very much rocky and it is not smooth. It is very uneven surface. And the Peninsular Plateau, it covers the states where my finger is pointing, that is Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and the eastern part of the Kerala. And the main cities of the Peninsular Plateau are Bhopal, Indore, and Hyderabad, Mysore, and Bengaluru. The river Narmada, it separates the plateau into two parts, that is the Central Highlands in the north and the Deccan Plateau in the south. So let's read and understand these two areas, that is the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. First, we come to the Central Highlands. The Malwa Plateau is in central India and the Chota Nagpur Plateau in the east together make the Central Highlands. It is bordered by Aravallis in the northwest, Vindhyas in the south, Chota Nagpur Plateau in the east, and the Raj Mahal Hills in the northeast. So this Central Highlands, when we come to the Central Highland, we see that the Malwa Plateau in central India and the Chota Nagpur Plateau in the east together, it makes the Central Highlands. And it is bordered by Aravallis towards the northwest, Vindhyas in the south, Chota Nagpur Plateau in the east, and the Raj Mahal Hills in the northeast. So it is surrounded by all these hills. The Malwa Plateau lies in the center. It is bordered by Aravallis in the northwest and Vindhya Hills in the south. Rivers originating in the Central Highlands are Chambal, Betwa, and Son. They join Ganga and Yamuna flowing northwards. Narmada and Tapi originate in the Vindhyas and flow westwards. So, the Central Highlands, it is bordered by Aravallis towards the northwest and the Vindhya Hills towards the south. And the rivers which are starting in the Central Highlands are Chambal, Betwa, and Son. All these join river Ganga and Yamuna flowing northwards. And Narmada and Tapi, they start from the Vindhyas and flow westwards. The Chota Nagpur Plateau covers the state of Jharkhand, northeastern Chhattisgarh, and northern Odisha. The fine black soil in the Malwa Plateau region is suitable for the growth of cotton and oil seeds. So the Chota Nagpur Plateau, it covers the states such as Jharkhand, the northeastern Chhattisgarh, and northern Odisha. And in the central highlands, that is the Malabar Plateau, we have the fine black soil, which is very much suitable for growth of cotton and oilseeds. Now let's see the second area, that is the Deccan Plateau. The Deccan Plateau is the largest plateau in India. It extends from river Narmada to the southern tip of peninsular India. It is bounded by the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats on the west and eastern coast respectively. So the Deccan Plateau, it is the largest plateau in India. It extends from the river Narmada to the southernmost tip of peninsular India. And it is bounded, that is surrounded by the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats on the western and eastern coast respectively. Western Ghats include the Nilgiri Hills, the Anamana Hills and the Cardamom Hills. The hills of the Western Ghats are comparatively higher than that of the Eastern Ghats. Both the Ghats join each other at the Nilgiri Hills. So the Western Ghats, they include the Nilgiri Hills, the Anamala Hills and the Cardamom Hills respectively. And the hills of the Western Ghats are a little bit higher than those of the Eastern Ghats. Lastly, those of the Western and Eastern Ghats join each other at the Nilgiri Hills. Now let's see the rivers. The rivers in this region are seasonal as they depend on rain for water. Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri are the main rivers originating in this region. So when we come to the rivers, we see that the rivers of this region are seasonal, that is, they are not filled with water, or there is no availability of water in this place throughout the year, and they all depend on rain for water. The important rivers of this region are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. These rivers rise in the west and flow eastwards, where they eventually empty into the Bay of Bengal. So all these rivers, they start from the west and flow eastwards when they all join together towards the Bay of Bengal. Godavari is the longest river of the Deccan Plateau. Narmada and Tapi are the only rivers that flow from east to west into the Arabian Sea. These rivers form several waterfalls in their course because of the uneven land. The Jog Falls on river Sharavati in Karnataka is among the highest plunge waterfalls in our country. Large dams are constructed across the Deccan rivers to store water. The Nagarjuna Sagar Dam across the Krishna River is one such example. So, the longest river, my dear children, in the Deccan Plateau is the Godavari. Narmada and Tapi are the only rivers that flow from the east to west and they go into the Arabian Sea. And these rivers, they form several waterfalls in their course because of the uneven land. The uneven land means when the land is not smooth, it is very much rocky. The Jog Falls on river Sharavati in Karnataka is amongst the highest plunge waterfalls. So the highest waterfalls in our country is the Jog Falls on river Sharavati. Large dams are also constructed across the Deccan rivers so as to store water because the rivers are seasonal. And the Nagarjuna Sagar Dam across the river Krishna is one such example. So this was all about the rivers. Now let's see the climate. The Malabar Plateau region experiences a pleasant climate because of its elevation. In other parts of the southern plateau, the summers are hot and dry and the winters are cold. So when we come to the climate of the Malabar Plateau, we see that it experiences a very wonderful climate. In other parts of the southern plateau, the summers are very hot and dry and the winters are cold. So in Malabar Plateau, the climate is very much suitable and very much wonderful. Now let's see soil and vegetation. The soil in this plateau region is black and red in color. Farming is the main occupation of people living there. Apart from cotton and oil seeds grown in the black soil, farmers also cultivate other crops like rice, millets, groundnut and sugarcane. So when we come to the soil of this plateau, that is the Malabar Plateau, we see that the soil is black and red in color, and farming is very much important here for the people, and they mostly do farming to earn their living. Apart from cotton and oil seeds grown in the black soil, farmers also they cultivate crops like rice, millets, groundnuts and sugarcane respectively. The different kinds of wood from the thick forest of Western Ghats and the northeastern region of the plateau is of commercial importance. So the different kinds of wood which we get from the Malwa Plateau from the thick forest of Western Ghats and the northeastern region of the plateau is used for commercial purposes, that is for business purposes. So this was all about the soil and vegetation. Now let's see the minerals. The Chota Nagpur Plateau is rich in minerals like coal, iron, manganese, bauxite and mica. The plateau region is the most mineral rich region of India. So when we come to the minerals, my dear children, we see that the Chota Nagpur Plateau is very much rich in minerals such as coal, iron, manganese, bauxite and mica. The plateau region is the most mineral rich region of India. So the plateau region of our country is very much filled with minerals and it is very much famous also. So my dear children, as of now we will stop till this portion, that is minerals. In our next class, we will start with the next portion of this particular chapter, that is the Great Indian Desert, where you can see my finger. So as of now, please revise what we have studied today and get ready for our next class. Thank you.